Why go to the donut shop? Never again. We're going down there to Louisiana, down there to New Orleans to make us some beignets, and these are going to be the best things you ever eat. Hey, thank y'all for stopping by the wagon. The sun is shining and I am hungry, and we talking about what? Mardi Gras. Yes, I ain't got no beads. Where's my beads at, Shan?
You haven't done anything to deserve them.
Oh, what do you gotta do to deserve them? You gotta
dance.
I can do some dancing, but I can do some cooking. And what are we talking about? We going to the French Quarter, we are, to get what? A French donut. And some of that coffee. Now, the first time that I ever had me one of them beignets, is that how you say it, Shan?
Yes.
Was a good friend of mine, Tony Osmond, lived down there in Louisiana at Ruston, and he allowed that he would send me a box that they got this mix in, and some of that coffee what got that chicory in it. I do know that Cafe Du Monde was a coffee company purchased by this guy, and his grandpa decided that they would make these little French square donuts called beignets. But these were named the Louisiana State Donut in 1986. So folks, when you can get a whole state to name the donut that you want, it is a good deal. I have done this by trial and error to where I get the most pop out of them. So we're gonna show you how to make them, and we ain't even gotta go to New Orleans and the French Quarter. Folks, we're gonna get this put together. First, we're gonna start off with 3/4 cup of warm water. Hot water will kill yeast. Cold water will hardly ever get it active. So make sure it's just lukewarm. Make sure that you have good yeast. I prefer to use rapid rise. I think to me it works the best. You know, the reason we do this is to proof the yeast. Now, when we're talking about proofing it, we want to see that yeast as it dissolves begin to bubble up. If you've waited 2 or 3 minutes and you ain't got no bubbles in there at all, folks, chunk it out and start over. Look at the date on that yeast, because this is extremely important. We need this yeast in there to help give us that pop. So make sure after it's stirred up, just set it aside. While that yeast is proofing, the eggs is over there while the yeast is proofing.
Oh, let me get you the eggs.
Okay. Now, folks.
Didn't know I was gonna have to film and be sous chef.
Well, it's pretty close, it is. Now, the recipe, folks, calls for 1 large egg. Y'all seen me go out there to talk to Gladys and the girls, even read them a story when they wasn't laying. Now, to get 1 large Gladys egg, I'm gonna have to take 2 of these eggs right here. So go ahead, let's get them cracked and in the bowl. Possums will have them. Skunk will have that one. To that, we're gonna add, what is it, my favorite ingredient besides a jalapeno on the ranch? Pet milk. We need 3/4 of a can. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of white sugar, a little dab of salt. We're going to mix. You should have already melted you 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We need about, I'd say 2 teaspoons of Clabber Girl. We'll go ahead and get this yeast poured back in there and then go to mixing. Did you notice how this rubber spatula is quieter than that other?
I appreciate it.
That's why I'm using it, just for you. I don't want you to dip this cup of flour in there because you're going to pack it. Things need to be what? They need to be measured precisely when you are making bread or donuts. Now, you can take that, rake it off there, but folks, I need you to sift it when it goes in there. I just don't want you to dump it, because we want things to be light, we want them to be airy. We're always going to start with the least amount. That way we can add it if we need it. But if it's too dry, too late, folks. And then I just need you to take a spoon and let's just go to folding gingerly. I don't want you to whip it with no whisk. I just want to fold it till we get all that flour incorporated well. You know, when you get this right, it's going to be something that's you can sort of form into a ball, but still has a little bit of wetness to it, because we're going to have to knead this here in a little bit. So let me get this part of this shook in there and we'll see where we're at.
Mate, what do you think?
Mate says he thinks it's going to work. You see it's sort of trying to ball up and be together anyway. When it gets to that point, shake you a little more on there, shake a little more in your hands, and let's see, can we make it into a ball? Now you see a lot of people when they're making a ball of dough or something, and they'll get to this point and then they'll stick them fingers down on the inside of that to see if that's sticky. No, folks, because you're letting some of that air out of there, you're letting some of that moisture out of there. I know it's probably sticky in the middle. That's the way I want it. So when you get it to this point to where you see it's not really sticking to my hands that much, just wad it up in here. Now we need a floured surface. And today the floured surface is the chuck box lid, Shan. And folks, it has been cleaned since a mouse tracked on it. So.
Oh yeah, tell us about what happened with the mouse.
Well, we've been gone for like 10 days on an event. We come back and these people had moved in. There was no sign here that said rooms for rent. In fact, it had a no vacancy sign that lit up at night and it flashed. Come out here today, what? They'd moved in, a whole family of them, about 6. Little mouses everywhere.
I'll show the clip after a while.
So get you a floured surface, dump this out. You're gonna have to knead this for how long? 2 to 3 minutes. It's what we call exercising the glutens, because we got to get them exercised to where they'll stretch out there and make everything pop later.
Now I'm always cheating the knead time, so can I not cheat that?
Do not cheat the knead. There is no need to cheat. Did you catch that?
I did.
Okay. Well, arthritis is beginning to set up. Just get it to a ball. The same bowl that we had, folks. You can either grease it with butter, grease it with oil, try to get the excess flour out of it, but just give it a good greasing. We're going to set this somewhere, cover it, and let it rise till it's doubled in size. Now this usually takes about 2 hours, and guess what? Due to the magic of television, we have a different colored bowl that the bread went in.
Oh, look at that.
Now I need you to keep it covered when you're letting it rise, not with none of that plastic wrap, none of that stuff. I don't want it to sweat and make moisture in there. I just want you to put a cup towel on it to where it can stay warm in there. It'll rise up quicker. Folks, come that time now, just punch a hole in there, let that sort of go down. I'll flour you a surface here. I just want you to knead it back together a little bit just to get some flour on it. And you can see, and this, folks, those of you who have made bread or made donuts, you know what something's going to be just by touching it. And this is so moist. It's got a great smell that's popping out of there. It is going to be some fine, fine beignets. It is. Now, if you can roll these in a square, it is good. If you can roll them in a rectangle, it is all right too. But if you can get them in a trapezoid, you in good shape, I'm telling you. So how thick? Now the first time that I made these, I was getting them pretty thick to where I would say there's 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8. And folks, them things when they fried up was still doughy in the middle. So you're probably looking at pretty close. We want to be pretty close to 1/4 inch. We're going to square this up. And don't think that stuff is going to get left out. It's not. If they ain't perfectly round or they ain't perfectly square, you know they're homemade. That's the best part. Just don't get them so big that they won't fit in your device that you're frying. And if it's going to take you multiple fryings, especially if you're trying to do this outside, I need you to cover this dough if you're having to wait so it don't dry out no more. Well, we got us a Dutch oven over there. Got about that much oil in it, folks. This is not a shallow fry. This is a deep fry. If you've got a deep fryer at home and you want to do this in it, preheat that oil to about 335 to 340. I like to stay under 350 because I don't just want it to just get that skin so brown right there at the top of that. Then they'll be doughy in the middle. So let's get to frying. Do not overcrowd the swimming pool. So we're going to start with about 4. And you'll see that is beginning to sizzle there just a little and jump back. We're going in, the temperature of the oil right now is 331 degrees. And just sort of keep them things moving around a little as you're going. And remember I told you these were sort of like sopapillas. If you want to go back and watch our sopapilla video, one of the greatest things that I learned cooking sopapillas is begin to splash some of that oil up on top. Look how much the pilla has grown. I mean, that's what we're after. You want them light and fluffy to where they got so much air in there. Roll them over, get that. It don't hurt to flip them, folks. It's sort of like cooking a burger. You ain't gonna hurt that feller by flipping him over and over. We want to get them good and golden brown, both sides. Some of these little fellers need a life jacket. They don't want to turn over on their own. I want a good, rich, golden brown color to them. Because folks, when you leave them like this one and white on one side, I guarantee you he is a little doughy in the middle. Monitor your oil temperature if you have to. Get you a wire rack that you've got a paper towel or something under. Let's go ahead and get these 4 out, or 5. The more they puff up, the lighter they are, the more air they got in them. I have some moochers living with me, and I've asked them to leave 3 or 4 times. Now, this has happened to me on ranches before, but never to this magnitude. Now, there is a lot of stuff going on here. So, we're gonna see this.
Oh!
So,
Oh God!
well, she was coming to see you. I seen him.
Yep.
Now, if I had a good mouse dog, where's the mouse dog at? Mage,
Oh yeah.
come here. Now, we all know that schnauzers were bred to be rodent dogs, right?
Yeah, not this one.
But, so, I want you just to look around in there and tell me if you find a rodent. Huh? Do you find a rodent anywhere?
No,
What? He's right behind you. No, look her here. I see, he is.
not a good dog. Whoa!
You missed him. I have made a lot of bread, and I've made a lot of donuts, and I've made these 4 or 5 times, but I had one of these while y'all wasn't watching, and goodness, I'm telling you about. But I do get these comments every while. Folks will be asking, well, I bet you don't feed that stuff to cowboys. Maybe Shannon's gonna have it there for you. During the old Bale Ranch, when we was cooking out there, I made donuts. Yes, I did. How'd we cut the middle out of them? Dumped my medicine out of a little pill bottle and cut that out of there. We feed cowboys well, and a lot of what y'all see us cook on here, cowboys ever tried it before y'all got to. So hey, this is some good eating. I don't even know which one to pick. I'm trying to pick the one that I think.
And you have to powder them when they come out, right?
Yeah, well, it's best, folks, when you powder them when they come out of that grease, and just, Shannon says sprinkle them lightly because it messes up the picture. Folks, sprinkle them heavy. If you have to, get a 5-gallon bucket of that stuff and roll them around it. See how this one is coated versus this one. Who you gonna grab first? I'll tell you, I'm gonna grab first. Get in here, Shannon. See that good hole in there? And folks, that is all done everywhere. There is air in there. Cafe du Monde, cafe on the back porch, cafe wherever you at. Folks, fix some of these up because they're oh so easy and they so good. And I got one participant here on hand today who was once a rodent dog today. So, Mage, I know this is not on your diet, but there you go, buddy. He do like a donut. This would probably call for a little elegant French dancing. Because folks, remember, this is Cafe du Monde, French donuts. So we're gonna start oh so slow, be gliding back and forth, making that dough, rolling it out, get the kneading to going, and then we're gonna go to town. I'm talking these donuts be good, folks, better than anything you ever eat. Be on the lookout for some bonus videos, because folks, we finna start putting some of them out on Sunday to where we can have a little more content for you. But it is with pride and honor that I tip my hat and I salute all our servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that old flag of flying over us no matter where they might be. We appreciate you so much, and we just lift you up in prayer. Rest of you, hey, we wouldn't make it without you every week, because what? I can feel the hugs that you're giving back to me. So come on in here. Come on. Love a hug. God bless you each and every one, and I'll see you down the best French Donuts beignet trail you ever been on in your life. You missed him.
Oh my gosh, you got him! Did he let him go?
He says, this thing's alive. Are you gonna get him? Go get him.
A leg or something.
Get him. Your first rodent catch.